What color is the space between blinking and forming a coherent thought? Dust mites drift through slanted beams, projecting warmth onto the rug. My spine sinks deeper into the cushions like a sedimentary rock. Maybe I should pay that utility bill sitting by the front door, but the light bends around the edge of my cold coffee cup, drawing a perfect crescent on the faded coaster from that indie club. I am 29, going on an ancient glacier, melting into the sea, tapping emails inside my head and deleting them immediately. Clock hands are just suggestions right now. Societal constructs made of plastic and glass. Let the notifications pile up into a digital mountain, because my lungs are finally expanding to their full capacity. Swimming through this late amber haze, watching the airborne specks choreograph a silent ballet. There's nothing urgent about existing at this exact second. The calendar is a blank slate, washed out by the glare. I'm trading my ambition for the way the shadow falls across the bookshelf and down to the wooden floorboards. Just breathing in the yellow frequency of a Tuesday. I wonder if my boss is staring at a similar wall. Probably not, because the corporate machine demands perpetual motion. My neighbor washing machine spins in a rhythmic thud against the drywall, creating baseline for the thoughts bouncing inside my skull. Plants lilling dangerous leaves toward the glass pane, trying to consume the glow. I should water them, but moving requires a shift in gravity. A stray cat walks across the alleyway, brick looking extremely judgmental. I agree with them entirely about the futility of the rat race. This couch is my entire universe until the shadows stretch long enough to breach the kitchen sink full of yesterday dishes, but that is a problem for future me to entangle. Clock hands are just suggestions right now. Societal constructs made of plastic and glass. Let the notifications pile up into a digital mountain, because my lungs are finally expanding to their full capacity. Swimming through this late amber haze, watching the airborne specks choreograph a silent ballet. There's nothing urgent about existing at this exact second. The calendar is a blank slate, washed out by the glare. I'm trading my ambition for the way the shadow falls across the bookshelf and down to the wooden floorboards. Just breathing in the yellow frequency of a Tuesday. Unspooling the anxiety that ties knots in my shoulders, thread by thread dissolving under the thermal touch of the sky. No deadlines exist in the realm of scattered photons. I am an observer, stationed at the edge of doing absolutely nothing, taking attendance of every speck of length illuminated in the air, present and accounted for. Every passing second feels like an exhale. Just me and the geometry of light, fading slowly as the earth rotates. But right now the angle is absolute perfection. The question from earlier remains unanswered, floating somewhere near the ceiling, waiting for the afternoon to finally intrude. I will let it hang there, suspended in the gold. Wondering if success requires exhaustion, shatters the perfect silence, dust particles suspend above the rug in brilliant compliance. Camera pans slowly across the discarded jacket on the floor. A block of pale amber stretches inward from the door. The focus pulls sharp on the rim of a water glass, watching the lazy minutes accumulate and peacefully pass. No script to follow and no marks to hit today. The shadows retreat back into a soft fading gray, zooming in on the collar of a folded shirt. Nothing left to trigger the usual high alert. The lighting designer works flawlessly through the window pane, washing away the invisible residue of the midnight rain. Early brightness arrived and shifted the entire frame. Every background object receives a beautiful new name, bathed in the soft filter of unhurried grace. We capture the profound beauty of an empty space. Action is called, but the protagonist remains completely still, letting the pure warmth casually overflow and spill. This is the masterpiece of doing nothing at all, watching the glowing rectangle slide across the wall, Cut to an extreme close-up of the turntable needle, casting a tiny silhouette sharp as a silver beetle. The lens flares playfully over the stacked magazines, directing the most incredibly peaceful domestic scenes. A steady tracking shot down the hallway in my mind, leaving the heavy baggage of the anxious we behind. Cinematic serenity draped over the linen bed sheets. A visual rhythm perfectly matching my resting heartbeats. Crane shot rising up to view the ceiling architecture, light painting patterns replacing the daily lecture. We hold the frame steady on this glowing solitude, color grading shifting entirely to a mellow mood. The aperture widens to swallow the entire living room, erasing the last remaining specks of the weekday gloom. Early brightness around him shifted the entire frame. Every background object receives a beautiful name, bathed in the soft filter of unhurried grace. We capture the profound beauty of an empty space. Action is called, but the protagonist remains completely still, letting the pure warmth casually overflow and spill. This is the masterpiece of doing nothing at all, watching the glowing rectangle slide across the wall. The scene fades to white as the temperature climbs, replacing the pressure of those rigid modern times. A slow pan away from the center of the bed, keeping this illuminated quiet safely in my head. Roll the credits. Lavender fabric softener hangs heavy inside the narrow corridor. She stands perfectly still by the sliding balcony glass. Her silver laptop sits entirely abandoned on the rug. Yesterday held nothing but endless tasks and frantic typing. Today the atmosphere shifts into a fundamentally different gear. Dust motes float like tiny constellations around her shoulders. She breathes deeply without checking the digital clock. The neighbor radio murmurs gently through the thin walls. It took years for her to learn the simple trick, closing the invisible tabs inside her overflowing mind, letting the bright warmth crawl across the wooden planks, meeting her bare feet in absolute and utter silence. Golden light paints a heavy blanket over her shoulders. She lets the sharp shadows shrink back into the corners. No more rushing past the hallway mirror to catch a train. No more measuring human worth by the sweat and the strain. She is simply a silhouette, soaking up the gentle glow, watching the busy street below move incredibly slow. The damp scent of wet soil rises from the potted fern. She watered it late last night in a deadline panic. Now the vibrant green leaves reach out toward the brightness. Her mobile device vibrates once on the cushion and stops. Usually this subtle vibration sends her heart racing fast, but now she watches the yellow dust settle on the screen, choosing temporary peace over the endless cycle of alerts, tying her dark hair back to fill the draft on her neck. It took years for her to learn this simple trick, closing the invisible tabs inside her overflowing mind, letting the bright warmth crawl across the wooden planks, meeting her bare feet in absolute and utter silence. Golden light paints a heavy blanket over her shoulders. She lets the sharp shadows shrink back into the corners. No more rushing past the hallway mirror to catch a train. No more measuring human worth by the sweat and the strain. She is simply a silhouette, soaking up the gentle glow, watching the busy street below move incredibly slow. Through the plastic blinds, she observes a stranger walking a dog. The universe continues spinning without her pushing the wheel. A sudden wave of clarity washes out the leftover guilt. Resting quietly is a completely valid way to exist. The brilliant beams stretch further into the living space, reaching the thick bookshelf she never had time to read. She pulls a dining chair into the absolute brightest patch, closes her eyes and leans her heavy head all the way back. The floral laundry scent slowly fades into the background, replaced by the clean heat of an entirely empty day. Nothing left to accomplish until the shadows stretch long, just her breathing softly in the center of the zone. Skateboard wheels rattle against the pavement. Down on the avenue, the city spins fast. But up here the atmosphere feels vacant. I brought 2 iced Americanos in a glass. You keep staring at your notification screen, stressing about deadlines and corporate fatigue. Put the device down on the magazine, look how the rays warm up the parquet wood. Take a second to breathe where we stood. Stop pacing, cross the rolling rug. Take a break from the digital bug. The world will spin without our permission. Let go of that relentless ambition. We have nowhere to be until the afternoon. Let the brightness quietly fill up the room. Sit down next to the window sill, my friend. Watch the golden particles slowly descend. Nobody is calling on the weekend schedule. You treat your peace of mind like a fragile vessel. Bask in the ultraviolet slow motion. Drown out the endless urban commotion. Just let the light rest on your shoulders. We can wait another hour before we get older. Remember when we thought success was everything, chasing paper trails and constantly losing sleep. Now we value the quiet that Saturday brings. Let the shallow conversations turn deep. Your posture carries heavy unseen pressure, trading away your youth for a balanced ledger. I open the window to let the breeze inside. Can you feel the warmth acting as a guide? It spreads right across the white linen sheets, making art out of the dust and the creases. Stop pacing across the woven rug. Take a break from the digital bug. The world will spin without our permission. Let go of that relentless ambition. We have nowhere to be until the afternoon. Let the brightness quietly fill up the room. Sit down next to the window sill, my friend. Watch the golden particles slowly descend. Nobody's calling on the weekend schedule. You treat your peace of mind like a fragile vessel. Bask in the ultraviolet slow motion. Drown out the endless urban commotion. Just let the light rest on your shoulders. We can wait another hour before we get older. The shadow moves an inch a minute. There is a tiny universe if you look within it. Notice how the bright yellow blocks out the gray. Nothing is demanding your attention today. Even the pigeons on the ledge. Take a break. Leave your worries at the door for my sake. Sit down next to the window sill, my friend. Watch the golden particles slowly descend. Nobody is calling on the weekend schedule. You treat your peace of mind like a fragile vessel. Bask in the ultraviolet slow motion. Drown out the endless urban commotion. Just let the light rest on your shoulders. We can wait another hour before we get older. The ice is melting in our cups. There is no reason for us to rush. Keep sitting in the glow right here. Watch your anxiety just disappear. Tomorrow can wait for tomorrow to arrive. Right now it just feels good to be alive. Yeah, yeah. One silver teaspoon rests perfectly still, yeah, beside my favorite ceramic mug. Tracing the rim with a slow index finger, calculating nothing but the dust floating up. Yeah, through a thick slender bright yellow warmth, hitting the grain of this oak wood table. I spent the last 5 years chasing the ghost, trading my youth for a desk and a cable. Now I just watch the steam curl in the air, drifting up high and disappearing soft, taking a breath that reaches my lungs, turning the engine of anxiety off. Letting the timeline refresh on its own. I have no interest in swiping the screen, closing my eyes, letting colors bleed through, catching a break in the quiet between. This light wraps around my shoulders tight, a heavy blanket made of pure relief. No sudden emails demanding my time, no rushing footsteps to swallow felt far too old. Shadows creep back with an inch at a time, mapping the passage or doing exactly nothing. I remember sprinting to catch the early subway, always convinced that my future was running ahead of my grasp, just out of my sight. Now I am seated and holding the reins, watching the ladybug land on the glass, free from the hustle and breaking the chains, sipping the coffee before it goes cold, savoring bitterness mixed with the sweet, counting the towels on the kitchen floor, feeling the warm wood under my feet, letting the timeline refresh on its own. I have no interest in swiping the screen, closing my eyes, letting colors bleed through, catching the break in the quiet between. This light wraps around my shoulders tight, a heavy blanket made of pure relief. No sudden emails demanding my time, no rushing footsteps to swallow my peace. I let the glare hit the edge of my glasses, bathing the room in a permanent gold, breathing out slowly and feeling the weight slide off a body that felt far too old. Somewhere out there is a desperate crowd, tying their shoes in a panic of dread. I send them prayers from the safety of home, keeping this radiant warmth by my head. Up. Nobody knows I dropped off the grid just for an hour to find myself here, inside the comfort of an average day, where every ambition just vanishes clear. One silver teaspoon catches the shine, sending a spark to the white painted wall. I lean my head back and sink in the chair, letting the silence respond to the call. Nothing is urgent and nobody waits. I am exactly right where I should be, lost in the geometry of the forenoon, letting the daylight just wash over me. Your 11:40 blinks across the nightstand, imagining an apartment we have not leased, picturing the shadows on a wooden floor, where the frantic energy has finally ceased. Yeah, right now I scan my transit pass at dawn, chasing a paycheck until my breath is gone. But I project a vision through the future glass, watching all the brilliant yellow hours pass, warm illumination resting by the door, tired of the hustle we currently endure, trading this relentless daily grind for a refuge we have yet to find. I can see the dust most dancing clear in a timeline that is drawing near. When we capture all this empty space, setting up the furniture in a different place, soft yellow warmth pouring on the sheets, far above the friction of the anxious streets. We will let the digits turn to noon, breathing in the comfort of a slower tune, just a pocket of tranquility we earn, watching how the lazy shadows turn. Calculated budgets on a glowing screen, fun in this specific future scene. You pour the water from a copper pot in a match of mugs that currently we haven't bought. The plants we plan to water, soak the rays, erasing all these solitary tired days. A speaker playing nothing but a jazz cassette inside a living room we haven't stepped in yet. I calculate the months until we get the key to the sanctuary built for you and me, trading this relentless daily grind for a refuge we have yet to find. I can see the dust most dancing clear in a timeline that is drawing near. When we capture all this empty space, setting up the furniture in a different place, soft yellow warmth pouring on the sheets, far above the friction of the anxious streets. We will let the digits turn to noon, breathing in the comfort of a slower tune, just a pocket of tranquility we earn, watching how the lazy shadows turn. Every hour logged inside the cubicle builds a bridge toward a life so beautiful. Every spreadsheet blurring on my weary side, pace for the perimeter, a peaceful light. I close my eyes upon the crowded train, mapping out the angles of a sunlit pane. We capture all this empty space, setting up the furniture in a different place, soft yellow warmth pouring on the sheets, far above the friction of the anxious streets. We will let the digits blueprint features nothing but the calm, resting right inside your open palm. A destination wrapped in sheer delay until we step inside that brilliant day. 11:40, holding steady in my mind, leaving all the bitter rushing years behind. Weren't caught in pills under my tracing thumb, caught in a sudden slant of butter yellow light. This oversized sweater holds the static of the past, a silent electricity from a different apartment. 10 years ago we were starving for success, racing through the calendar without a single pause. But right now the dust motes freezing midair, pulling my mind backward to a forgotten sanctuary. Silence wraps around the second hand, no alarms demanding I participate in the rush. The pale rays crawling across the faded rug become a projector playing our old film. A golden hour in reverse paints the bedroom wall. We were sitting on the floor drinking cheap drip brew, talking about the futures we could barely see, bathed in the same amber warmth that surrounds me now. Time folded itself perfectly in half, bringing that exact peaceful second back to life. I traced the frayed seam running down the cuff, remembering how you laughed at my ridiculous ambition. You said rest is a weapon we forget to wield. I did not understand you until this current back, and now the inbox can wait until the shadows stretch. I'm sitting still inside the echo of your advice, watching the most dance above the wooden table, breathing in the slow tempo we finally achieved. Silence wraps around the second hand, no alarms demanding I participate in the rush. The pale rays crawling across the faded rug become a projector playing our old film. A golden hour in reverse paints the bedroom wall. We were sitting on the floor drinking cheap drip brew, talking about the futures we could barely see, bathed in the same amber warmth that surrounds me now. Time folded itself perfectly in half, bringing that exact peaceful second back to life. The hustle convinced me quiet was a losing game, a luxury meant for people with nothing to prove, but feeling this fabric and watching the dust fall, I realized the destination was simply having the time to sit. A gentle illumination washing the anxiety away, bridging the gap between the naive kid and today. The sweater remains heavy with the past, the butter yellow light shifts an inch to the right. I leave my phone face down on the mattress and let the memory finish playing in the glow. Completely empty schedule feels like wealth, resting right here in the center of the frame. Quit staring at your watch, you whisper before turning the brass handle of the door. Now I am tracing how the shadow shifts across the grooves of this uneven floor. The refrigerator hums a steady tone, 3 yellow receipts pinned to the board, a single water drop hits the steel sink, striking a quiet and accidental chord. I watch a spider spin a tiny thread, connecting the dusty bookshelf to the wall. Not a single thought about my schedule, just watching the geometric patterns fall. No rush to step into the heavy world, no immediate ambition to chase down, just witnessing the pale beams multiply, washing out the muted grays in town. Collecting fragments of the early hours, dust particles suspended in the rain. A loose string hanging off my cardigan, the brilliant slant of a brand new day. I let the timeline completely disappear, studying the grain along the windowsill, soaking in the luxury of doing nothing, letting the anxious machinery stand still. My laptop rests closed on the woven rug. A stack of unopened mail gathers heat. The neighbor waters ferns on his balcony, drops spilling down to the quiet street. Two pigeons disputed, discarded crumb. My tea leaves settle at the ceramic base. The digital clock clicks to 10:15, but time carries an entirely different pace. I observe the fading ink on a magazine, noting how the glossy cover reflects the sky. Specks dancing around a dying house plan while the heavy responsibilities pass by. No rush to step into the heavy world, no immediate ambition to chase down. Just witnessing the pale beams multiply, washing out the muted grays in town. Collecting fragments of the early hours, dust particles suspended in the rain. A loose string hanging off my cardigan, the brilliant slant of a brand new day. I let the timeline completely disappear, studying the grain along the windowsill, soaking in the luxury of doing nothing, letting the anxious machinery stand still. Yesterday I carry mountains on my back, counting grievances and phantom deadlines. Today I'm cataloging the warm spaces where the outside brightness softly aligns with the scuff marks by the entryway, with the wrinkled cotton of the bed sheets. A gallery of very mundane miracles where the nervous mind gently retreats. Quit staring at your watch, she whispered, and now I finally understand the view. The room is woven with quiet gold thread, small details soaking in a brilliant hue. Just an index of ordinary peaceful things, breathing slowly while the light remains. Amber rectangles paint the cafe floorboards, cutting through the steam of poured espresso. Someone says a canvas toed down gently, asking if the chair across is taken. I point toward the empty wooden seating, smiling at a face I do not recognize. You mentioned how the glare strikes the window, bending into prisms on your iced glass. We share a quiet hour among the strangers, watching dust motes dancing in the cross beams. There is nothing pressing on our schedules, just a slow drip of time moving forward. You tell me about a city you once lived in, where the sky always kept a heavy gray filter. I listen while the shadows stretch an angle, drawing golden lines across the saucer. No pressure to perform or check the timeline, just passing words within a perfect halo. The shared silence speaks a gentle language before the rush of noon breaks the spell. Yeah. Copper reflections bounce off the sugar spoon. You trace a circle on the paper napkin, explaining how your 20s felt like running, chasing after trains that left the station. I nod because I know the same exhaustion, carrying a briefcase full of deadlines, but sitting in this pocket of late daylight, those heavy years begin to feel transparent. We share a quiet hour among the strangers, watching dust motes dancing in the cross beams. There is nothing pressing on our schedules, just the slow drip of time moving forward. You tell me about a city you once lived in, where the sky always kept a heavy gray filter. I listen while the shadows stretch an angle, drawing golden lines across the saucer. No pressure to perform or check the timeline, just passing words within a perfect halo. The shared silence speaks a gentle language before the rush of noon breaks the spell. Sometimes peace arrives without a warning, delivered by a voice you never asked for. A momentary pause from the striving, wrapped in yellow warmth beside the counter. You gather up your coat and check your wristwatch, leaving a folded crane made from the receipt. The ember fades into a stark noon glare. I brush the sugar crystals off the table, thanking the unknown guests for their stories, taking a deep breath before I stand up, ready ready to walk back into the motion. This dense leather armchair absorbs my entire mess, sinking into the cushions as the early hours pass. I'm letting it hold the burden we used to drag around when you were 23 and terrified of losing ground. Riding this back to a timeline where you never sleep, always swimming upstream in water entirely too deep. I wish I could mail you the exact temperature of this room, show you how the orchids on the windowsill finally bloom. The hands on the dial moving at half speed, no alerts on the screen demanding that I read. Does most perform a slow waltz across the timber floor? I wanna tell you grinding your teeth is not required anymore. Golden rays spill across the empty ceramic cup. We made it to a future where we do not need to hurry up. Taking a deep breath while the shadows stretch out long, basking in a frequency where nothing is going wrong. I kept all the promises we made in the dark. Now the brightness is leaving a comfortable mark. Listen to the quiet calm in my current voice. We finally reached a place where resting is a choice. You carry panic in your backpack next to your notebooks, analyzing every casual conversation for judging looks, skipping your meals just to beat the early train commute, measuring your worth by the items you could execute. Look at us now, soaking in the brightness of a living, finding a little piece of an unassuming heaven, wearing linen trousers instead of a rigid tailor fit, learning how to simply exist when we decide to sit. Hands on the dial, I'm moving at half speed, no alerts on the screen demanding that I read. Does most perform a slow waltz across the timber floor? I wanna tell you grinding your teeth is not required anymore. Golden rays spilled across the empty ceramic cup. We made it to a future where we do not need to hurry up. Taking a deep breath while the shadows stretch out long, basking in a frequency where nothing is going wrong. I kept all the promises we made in the dark. Now the brightness is leaving a comfortable mark. Listen to the quiet calm in my current voice. We finally reached a place where resting is a choice. Stop looking constantly over your shoulder for impending disaster. You do not have to force your heart to beat any faster. The warm filter with the specific hour is safe to touch. Everything you sacrifice built this exact sanctuary. Yeah, you are allowed to lean back and not accomplish very much. The heavy air of the past is no longer ours to carry. The dense chair takes the weight of my frame. The window casts a glow that spells out our name. Letters sealed and delivered to the kid I used to be. Drink the light in and finally breathe free. Yeah, where exactly do the lost seconds hide? Slipping under the beige rug by the door. My thumb scrolls past another stranger smiling while a patch of light crawls across the floor. I should water that plant before it dies. It was a gift from an office I left behind. Tracing the grain on this wooden table, watching the golden rays slowly unwind. Thinking about rent and the shape of the clouds. There is a stain on my favorite gray sweater. Breathing feels different without all the crowds. Maybe I will write a physical letter. Golden rectangles stretching out long. Everything feels like it belongs right here. Dust motes floating in a random pattern, making the heavy things disappear. Just me and the quiet breathing in, letting the warmth sink under my skin. No alarms ringing, no trees to catch. Lighting my thoughts with a quiet match. Staring at the spine of a book I never read. The yellow cover looks warmer in this glare. I need to buy eggs and maybe some milk, but my body refuses to leave this chair. Shadows stretch across the digital clock. 11 past 10 feels like a suggestion. My device stays dark for a while. I am tired of constantly seeking perfection. Thinking about rent and the shape of the clouds. There is a stain on my favorite gray sweater. Breathing feels different without all the crowds. Maybe I will write a physical letter. Golden rectangles stretching out long. Everything feels like it belongs right here. Dust motes floating in a random disappear. Just me and the quiet breathing in, letting the warmth sink under my skin. No alarms ringing, no trains to catch. Lighting my thoughts with a quiet match. The neighbors watering their balcony ferns. I watch a single drop fall to the street. Logic just fades when the atmosphere turns into this cocoon of amber and heat. Do I even exist if nobody texts me today? Probably yes, in a much better way. Let the light travel across the carpet, slowly inching toward the kitchen tiles. No rush to figure out the next step, basking in silence for miles and miles. Where exactly do the lost seconds hide? I think they are resting right by my side. Yeah, wondering if ambition really matters. Shatters the absolute quiet here. A slow pen and shot glides over the mattress, bringing the background near. Catching an ember stripe stretching across the wooden floor, right past the bicycle leaning against the hallway door. The aperture widens to let the golden glare inside. Watching the microscopic dust particles slowly glide. Zoom into the rim of a ceramic cup. Steam rises slowly and spirals straight up. No background score playing, just ambient sound. The easiest gravity firmly keeping me bound. My director chair is a cushion on the ground. Cut to the pale yellow coat in the sofa seams. A tracking shot floating through my mid-20s dreams. Holding the frame on this exact degree of light, washing away the indigo stains of a restless night. We roll the film without a complicated script to obey. A private premiere of a perfectly useless day. Macro focus on a drying house plant leaf, half illuminated, finding a quiet visual relief. The clock hands move, but the pacing feels stalled, like a cinematic freeze frame beautifully installed. Pan right to the bookshelf, color graded, entirely warm, safely distanced from a typical weekday storm. I block my own scene, stepping directly into the ray, closing my eyelids, letting the bright lens flares play. Zoom, zoom into the rim of a ceramic cup. Steam rises slowly and spirals straight up. No background score playing, just ambient sound. The easiest gravity firmly keeping me bound. My director chair is a cushion on the ground. Cut to the pale yellow coating the sofa seams. A tracking shot floating through my mid-20s dreams. Holding the frame on this exact degree of light, washing away the indigo stains of a restless night. We roll the film without a complicated script to obey. A private premiere of a perfectly useless day. The rule of first place is my piece in the absolute center. No complex dialogue or drama allowed to enter. Just breathing in sync with the shifting shadow lines. As the digital clock creates neon orange designs, I edit out the guilt of taking the proper break, spicing only the warmth for my mental sake. Fade out the tension riding tight in my neck. Keep the brightness up, leave the contrast in check. The credits roll slow over this bright yellow floor. Nobody knocks on the heavy apartment door. Just a silent movie running in an empty space, catching the perfect lighting on a resting face. Yeah, tires rolling over wet asphalt hits down the block. A distant street sweeper ticks like a metronome clock. I see you reaching for your phone like an anxious reflex. Put it down and step away from the corporate complex. Yeah, you spent the whole week chasing targets and quotas. Now we are sitting on the sofa with ceramic coasters. Empty cups of Earl Grey from the night before. Leave your slippers right there on the wooden floor. Look at the way the light bends through the blinds, painting striped shadows on the books you left behind. The whole city's rushing to secure the bag, but we have got no reason to join that endless drag. You always always shoulder every burden you can find. Just let the warm rays melt the tension in your mind. Cancel every plan we made for 11. This living room couch feels a bit like heaven. The beams hitting the carpet are slow and thick. No need to move fast when the clocks do not tick. So sit back and let the ambient noises play. We are keeping the daily hustle entirely at bay. Ooh, ooh. Watch the golden dust settle on your sleeve. You do not have to pack your bags and leave. Yeah. Listen to the stray cat knocking over a tin can. Even the alleyway's part of our escape plan. You were talking about a promotion you lost out on. Let that office anxiety stay completely withdrawn. Right here the temperature is 22 degrees. Catching a quiet break from the digital freeze. Your posture is softening against the fabric weave. Nothing but pure oxygen for you to receive. I brought a bakery box filled with cinnamon sweets, while the local buses rumble down the narrow streets. Look at the way the light bends through the blinds, painting striped shadows on the books you left behind. The whole city is rushing to secure the bag. But we have got no reason to join that endless drag. You always shoulder every burden you can find. Just let the warm rays melt the tension in your mind. Cancel every plan we made for 11. This living room couch feels a bit like heaven. The beams hitting the carpet are slow and thick. No need to move fast when the clocks do not tick. So sit back and let the ambient noises play. We are keeping the daily hustle entirely at bay. Watch the golden dust settle on your sleeve. You do not have to pack your bags and leave. Time is a currency we waste on being stressed, but today we invested in being undisturbed and blessed. The balcony glass reflects a vibrant amber hue, casting a flawless spotlight directly onto you. No urgent emails pinging from your pocket screen. Just the most peaceful Sunday we have ever seen. Cancel every plan we made for 11. This living room couch feels a bit like heaven. The beams hitting the carpet are slow and thick. No need to move fast when the clocks do not tick. So sit back and let the ambient noises play. We are keeping the daily hustle entirely at bay. Watch the golden dust settle on your sleeve. You do not have to pack your bags and leave. The hiss of the tires fades into the background. Only this brilliant daylight wrapping us around. Breathe in the stillness and let your shoulders drop. We found a quiet corner where the spinning can stop. Take all the time you need to simply exist. Cross every worry right off your endless list. Yeah, warm vanilla permeates the hallway draft, flowing softly past the elevator shaft. It leaves the heavy blazer on the velvet chair. Usually rushing downstairs, fighting the brisk air. Today the transit car get this quiet dust. Traded the rush hour panic for a gentle trust. He pours the filtered water in the kettle spout, watching the golden rays filter the darkness out. No sudden deadlines, chasing shadows on the wall. The pixelated screens flash, but stay ignored. He traces the faded grain across the dining board, discovering the cadence he was longing for. Slanted brilliance resting heavy on his shoulders, watching as the frantic city slowly smolders. He takes a deep breath at 11:32. Nothing on the calendar that he is forced to do. Just a tranquil room and the brightness creeping in, washing away the noise where the stress had been. Angles of warm stretch across the record sleeve. He drops the silver needle, letting the jazz weave. The mellow saxophone spills over the windowsill. Time stretches out exceptionally still. Beyond the double pane, the masses run the race. Through some briefcases blur into a frantic pace. He waters the small ferns beside the radiator, deciding all the urgent calls can happen later. No sudden deadlines, chasing shadows on the wall. The pixelated screens flash, but stay ignored. He traces the faded grain across the dining board, discovering the cadence he was longing for. Slanted brilliance resting heavy on his shoulders, watching as the frantic city slowly smolders. He takes a deep breath at 11:32. Nothing on the calendar that he's forced to do. Just a tranquil room and the brightness creeping in, washing away the noise is where the stress had been. Tranquility acts like a shield against the grind, a temporary sanctuary for the anxious mind. He watches the roasted coffee settle in the mug, wrapped inside the comfort of a woven rug. The refrigerator hums a low, reliable drone, the safest sanctuary he has ever known. The blazer rests abandoned on the velvet chair, floating dust particles decorate the glowing air. He exhales the tension of the prior week, finding the quiet moments he began to see. The sanctuary stays illuminated, the outside world is separated. An empty matchbox casts a long shadow across the teak wood, beside a coaster where yesterday's cold brew stood, tracing lines where I used to stack my anxieties high, watching dust motes dancing in beams that multiply. Yeah, doing absolutely nothing and it feels completely fine. No train to catch at 9:15. Usually I am rushing past the foyer mirror in a blur, tying shoelaces while my thoughts become a mechanical whir. But the clock isn't moving through syrup right now, taking a breath and finally figuring out how. I left the device on airplane mode since late last night. The notification screen stays perfectly devoid of light, just me and the shifting temperature of the open room, sweeping away the remnants of the weekday gloom, letting the brightness spill over the edges of the woven rug, feeling the warmth wrap around me like a heavy hug. Nobody needs my signature on a document right here. I am existing simply as a silhouette becoming clear, bathing in the amber glow of a quiet forenoon. No rush to prove my worth beneath the fading moon, just an inner monologue, sharing space with the clarity, enjoying the slow rhythm of this rare luxury. Yeah. Yesterday I was drowning in Excel grids and fluorescent bulbs, chasing after a validation that inevitably dissolves. Today the only metric I am tracking is the heat on my arm, measuring success by how I can protect this calm. The kettle whistles a gentle and uninterrupted tone, pouring water over the dark roast while I sit alone, watching the steam rise and dissipate into the white ceiling, unclenching my jaw and exploring this unfamiliar feeling. We run so fast on a treadmill, made a strict ambition. I'm stepping off the track to cancel that mission. I left the device on airplane mode since late last night. The notification screen stays perfectly devoid of light, just me and the shifting temperature of the open room, sweeping away the remnants of the weekday gloom, letting the brightness spill over the edges of the woven rug, feeling the warmth wrap around me like a heavy hug. Nobody needs my signature on a document right here. I am existing simply as a silhouette becoming clear, bathing in the amber glow of a quiet forenoon. No rush to prove my worth beneath the fading moon, just an inner monologue, sharing space with the clarity, enjoying the slow rhythm of this rare luxury. Maybe I will read that novel, gathering guilt on the shelf, or maybe I will just stare at the peeling paint by myself. Productivity is a ghost I am refusing to summon today. The only task assigned is watching the shadows play, migrating an inch across the polished hardwood floor. I do not want to be a stressed protagonist anymore. The matchbox stays exactly where it was dropped down, far away from the chaotic sirens of the downtown, breathing out the residue of the corporate climb. Everything is exactly where it needs to be this time. Closing my eyes against the brilliant window pane, finding complete peace inside my own brain. Yeah, yeah, ay, ay, ay. Yeah, frayed denim fibers graze my fingertips. A jacket left across the reading chair. Pockets carrying a receipt from December. Faded ink brings a cold wind back here. I can feel the exact weight of that evening snow crunching under our tired boots. We talked about quitting our corporate jobs, planting seeds to grow entirely new roots. Now the golden dust settles on the collar Bright beams cutting through the blinds. It casts a square across the wooden floor, pulling last winter into my mind. Time acts funny when the room gets quiet. Hours stretch out like an endless string. I brush the shoulder of this empty coat, letting go of the rush that Mondays bring. Breathing in the calm of 10:30. No alarm clocks ringing in my ear. Just the particles dancing in the warmth. Shadows slide away into the corner, leaving a patch of pure white gold. I close my eyes and rewind the tape, back to stories that we left untold. Coffee sits getting colder on the desk while I drift into a backward glide, basking in the glow of this empty room with my old memories walking by my side. Tracing the stitching along the hemline, remembering the latte we spilled that day. Laughed it off while the subway rattled, brushing the brown stains out of the way. You told me the future was a blank canvas. I was terrified of making the wrong stroke. Now I sit in this puddle of gentle light, finding comfort in the words you spoke. The heavy wool feels lighter in the glare. I drop my phone face down on the rug, letting the notifications pile up unseen, tracing the outline of an old tight hug. Time acts funny when the room gets quiet. Hours stretch out like an endless string. I brush the shoulder of this empty coat, letting go of the rush that Mondays bring. Breathing in the calm of 10:30. No alarm clocks ringing in my ear. Just the particles dancing in the warmth. Shadows slide away into the corner, leaving a patch of pure white gold. I close my eyes and rewind the tape, back to stories that we left untold. Coffee sits getting colder on the desk while I drift into a backward glide, basking in the glow of this empty room with my old memories walking by my side. We were running so fast trying to make it, chasing the timeline we did not create. Now the only thing moving is the dust mote hovering above the ceramic plate. I finally understand the peace you wanted, sitting completely still in the glare, watching the past turn into bright amber, suspended inside the apartment air. Shadows slide away into the corner, leaving a patch of pure white gold. I close my eyes and rewind the tape, back to stories that we left untold. Coffee sits getting colder on the desk while I drift into a backward glide, basking in the glow of this empty room with my own memories walking by my side. Denim wrist heavy on the chair back, bright patch of shift across the floor. I leave the past inside the woven threads, not rushing to the future anymore. Quietly soaking in the midday heat, letting the timeline safely disappear. You worked too hard, you mentioned yesterday. Now that sentence echoes in this sunless space. The specks float above the stereo dial, two wider plants drooping out of style. Neighbors walking beagles by the fence line, water boiling slowly for the drip grind. Shadows cutting sharply on the hardwood floor, mail stacks left untouched right beside the door. Clock ticks, feel a little spaced out. Nothing urgent pressing on the brain right now. Warm patches creeping up my oversized socks. I just sit and watch the neighborhood walk, gathering the pieces of a quiet late dawn. Amber light stretching where the rug is drawn, counting every lint ball floating in the rays, taking back the minutes from the rush of days. Yellow beam settling on the sofa crease, trading in the panic for a subtle peace. Buses rumbling softly 3 streets away. I let the unread messages sit and delay, noticing the scratches on the coffee table glass, watching little moments in the silence pass. Half a bagel resting on a ceramic plate, no alarm ringing to tell me I am late. The thermostat clicking with a gentle sound, gravity keeping everything firmly on the ground. Clock ticks, feel a little spaced out. Nothing urgent pressing on the brain right now. Warm patches creeping up my oversized socks. I just sit and watch the neighborhood walk, gathering the pieces of a quiet late dawn. Amber light stretching where the rug is drawn, counting every lint ball floating in the rays, taking back the minutes meetings in the subway blur. Static on the phone and words acting like a slur. Now it is just geometric shapes in the glow. Watching how the steam curls, beautiful and slow. Tuning into frequencies of idle time. Stringing up these seconds in a lazy rhyme. Noticing the gradient, the blue turning bright. Basking in the fragments of this local light. Just exactly where I need to sit and be. Sunshine making islands on the floor for me. Breathing in the rhythm of a slow clock hand. Pieces making castles in the shifting sand. Tangerine beams wash over the ceramic plates, spilling past the barista counter by the gates. You ask if this chair is taken by my coat. I shake my head and clear the dust from my throat. Sit down if you wanna soak in the warmth. We watch the dust motes dancing in a silent swarm. You mentioned how the city usually moves too fast. I nod and watch the amber shadows slowly cast. No laptops open today, no schedules getting in the way. You tell me it is your first day off in a month. I smile because I finally skipped the early crunch. We let the quiet do the heavy lifting here. Sharing the glow with somebody I do not know. Basking in the slow pace, letting the tension go. The window frames a masterpiece of copper air. Just two adults breathing without a single care. You say the glare is blinding, but you do not mind. Leaving the frantic Tuesday heavy rush behind. We sip our dark roasts in the tangerine bag. You point out the pedestrians rushing outside, briefcases swinging with a pressurized stride. I tell you I was one of them just yesterday, trading my peace of mind for a standard pay. You laugh and the sound is soft against the glass, watching the busy commuters frantically pass. This corner booth is an island of pure gold, a temporary sanctuary from the biting cold. You ask what book I left open on the wood. I say it is poetry that I barely understood. The tops open today, no schedules getting in the way. You tell me it is your first day off in a month. I smile because I finally skipped the early crunch. We let the quiet do the heavy lifting here. Sharing the glow with somebody I do not know. Basking in the slow pace, letting the tension go. The window frames a masterpiece of copper air. Just two adults breathing without a single care. You say the glare is blinding, but you do not mind. Leaving the frantic Tuesday heavy rush behind. We sip our dark roasts in the tangerine bath. The rare connection in the metropolitan grid, taking a second to do what we never did. You pack up your bag and button up your feet, saying thank you for the momentary slice of peace. I tell you the pleasure was entirely mine, holding on to the warmth as you crossed the line. Sharing the glow with somebody I do not know. Basking in the slow pace, letting the tension go. The window frames a masterpiece of copper air. Just two adults breathing without a single care. You say the glare is blinding, but you do not mind. Leaving the frantic Tuesday heavy rush behind. We sip our dark roasts in the tangerine bath. The chair is empty, but the cushion is still warm. The copper light continues to freely transform. I lean my head back against the painted brick, letting the lazy hours stretching gently tick goodbye. Stranger from the corner window seat. The solid weight of this wooden chair keeps my body grounded, pressing deep into the cushions, letting gravity pull. I watch the dust motes float in a straight line, thinking about you, always running till your schedule's full. You used to hate the quiet midday gaps, always checking the watch, scared you were falling behind. Tracing circles over all those underground subway maps, losing your breath just to see what you could find. A soft golden stripe stretches across my bare feet, It took 10 years to learn how to sit still. Looking back at the kid who skipped every heartbeat. I promise the quiet is not out to kill. You can finally breathe without counting the seconds. The early hours do not demand a sacrifice. Watch the warm rays paint in the windowsill. We paid the toll and we met the price. Rest your shoulders against the velvet backing. There is no exam left to pass today. The daylight is bright and absolutely nothing is lacking. Let the panic of yesterday slowly fade away. Writing this note on the back of a no receipt. Your 20-something anxiety was a heavy winter coat. Running down the pavement, staring at your worn out feet. Swallowing the pressure rising constantly in your throat. Now the espresso machine drips a lazy rhythm. The balcony glass turns amber around 10:15. I escape the maze and the endless algorithm, letting the warmth wash the canvas until it is clean. A soft golden stripe stretches across my bare feet. It took 10 years to learn how to sit still. Looking back at the kid who skipped every heartbeat. I promise the quiet is not out to kill. You can finally breathe without counting the seconds. The early hours do not demand a sacrifice. Watch the warm rays painting the windowsill. We paid the toll and we met the price. Rest your shoulders against the velvet backing. There is no exam left to pass today. The daylight is bright and absolutely nothing is lacking. Let the panic of yesterday slowly fade away. I wish I could send a telegram through time, just to hold your shaking hands and tell you to wait. Every steep mountain you were forcing yourself to climb led directly right back to this peaceful garden gate. Bright beams catch the steam from the ceramic mug, wrapping a warm blanket around your old fears. We made it to a sanctuary. The heavy chair holds my center of gravity. Golden light spilling across the hardwood. You did exactly what you needed to do. Now just let the brightness wash over you. Rest. Why does the ceiling fan cast shadows that look like isolated islands floating across the white plaster? Above my bed, my phone screen lights up and goes dark again. Yeah. Maybe I should care about the notifications stacking up like overdue bills, but the light hitting the rug softens every sharp edge in this room. I can see individual fibers glowing against the wood grain. The radiator hisses a steady rhythm, making my thoughts scatter like marbles on a tilted surface. Gravity feels entirely different today. Heavy enough to keep me anchored to the mattress. Light enough to let my mind drift out the half-open window, following the exhaust from a distant city bus. Sunbeams cut through the gaps in the blinds, painting horizontal lines over discarded clothes. I am floating in the space between deadlines, breathing in the warmth of a delayed routine. There is a coffee cup drying on the nightstand, waiting for me to find the motivation to brew another batch. But the golden haze tells me to stay exactly here, suspended in a silent conversation with the air. I wonder if my neighbors can hear the silence inside my apartment. It is louder than the playlist I forgot to shuffle last night. A potted pothos drops a single yellow leaf onto the windowsill. I watch it fall and calculate the trajectory in slow motion. My brain refuses to process anything faster than a crawl. Memories of yesterday blur into plans for tomorrow. Neither of them holds any weight in this specific hour. Only the dust particles catching the ambient glow matter now. Gravity feels entirely different today. Heavy enough to keep me anchored to the mattress. Light enough to find the motivation to brew another batch. But the golden haze tells me to stay exactly here, suspended in a silent conversation with the air. Should I get up and start the kettle? Should I stretch my arms toward the ceiling? Should I plug back into the grid? Every answer evaporates into the heat of the window pane. My to-do list fades into a translucent blur, replaced by the immediate need to simply exist without purpose, without direction. Sunbeams cut through the gaps in the blinds, painting horizontal lines over discarded clothes. I am floating in the space between deadlines, breathing in the warmth of a delayed routine. There is a coffee cup drying on the nightstand, waiting for me to find the motivation to brew another batch. But the golden haze tells me to stay exactly here, suspended in a silent conversation with the air. The light creeps an inch to the left, marking the passage of a slow calendar. My eyes trace the new border on the sheets, closing slowly against the warmth. Everything else can wait until the shadows disappear. Debating if I sent that email shatters the complete silence. I push the panic down, refusing to invite the violence. Shadows stretch across the wooden floorboards like a vintage film. Dust particles float inside a slanted yellow sunbeam. My favorite mug sits empty beside a stack of magazines. I become the sole observer of this domestic scene. The camera angles downward to my bare feet on the rug. Time feels suspended, escaping the daily slug. Zooming in upon the tiny details I normally ignore. The woven texture of the fabric, the scuff marks on the door. It is a wide shot of my isolation, but comfortably warm. Taking a deep breath before facing the outside storm. Basking in the slow pan of an early quiet hour. Golden lighting spills across the television screen, directing my own peaceful documentary inside these walls. Every single second lingers like a masterpiece on pause, washing away the heavy static of the previous night, bathing in the unscripted, perfectly balanced light. Yeah, close up on the kettle, letting out a thin stream of steam. Focus shifting to the balcony where pigeons softly preen. I play the main protagonist who simply just exists. No dialogue required, striking off the daily list. Tracking shot is moving from the sink to bedroom door, embracing the luxury of dropping down upon the floor. Lighting shifts a little as the hours softly glide, leaving all the heavy expectations far outside. On the tiny details I normally ignore. The woven texture of the fabric, the scuff marks on the door. It is a wide shot of my isolation, but comfortably warm. Taking a deep breath before facing the outside storm. Basking in the slow pan of an early quiet hour. Golden lighting spills across the television screen, directing my own peaceful documentary inside these walls. Every single second lingers like a masterpiece on pause, washing away the heavy static of the previous night, bathing in this unscripted, perfectly balanced light. Yeah, cut to an alternate angle, gazing upward at the cracks, tracing the imaginary rivers on the ceiling tracks. The end score is just a humming of the fridge, walking back and forth across a solitary bridge, letting the sudden lens flare blind me for a second, ignoring every single duty that has quietly beckoned. The rolling credits hover over my forgotten cup, fading out on dancing dust as I am looking up, holding this exact frame. Serenity within the cup, letting the screen turn black. Yeah. Delivery scooters buzz past the first floor bakery while you pull the heavy blankets over your shoulders. Tuesday always feels like a wait in your schedule, but today the clock is ticking slightly slower. Leave the unread messages flashing on the glass screen, breathe into the quiet space we found in between. The city races forward to beat the early traffic. We just sit here escaping the digital static. Dust particles float inside the slanted yellow beam, cutting straight across your messy living room space. Nothing demands your attention at this exact second. Let the daily pressure drop away from your face. Keep the blinds half open to catch the gold. This relaxed daylight never really gets old. You carry too much ambition inside your chest. Take this quiet morning simply just to rest. Watch the amber colors paint your empty walls. Silence the vibrations and the incoming calls. Warmth spilling right across the wooden floor. You do not have to fight the current anymore. I see the tension living tight around your jawline. Stressing over emails and stepping out of line. Look at the tiny dust specks suspended in the heat. Every single one finds a gentle little beat without forcing any movement through the empty air. Sink deeper into the fabric of your desk chair. Brew coffee drips through the paper in the kitchen. Stop letting your anxiety do all the pitching. Your 30s turn into a sprint for survival. Always waiting for some grand overdue arrival. Just pause and look at the gradient in the sky. Watching the soft yellow light multiply. This window frame is the only word we need today. Washing all the typical heavy burdens away. The blinds half open to catch the gold. This relaxed daylight never really gets old. You carry too much ambition inside your chest. Take this quiet morning simply just to rest. Watch the amber colors paint your empty walls. Silence the vibrations and the incoming calls. Warmth spilling right across the wooden floor. You do not have to fight the current anymore. The alleyway stays calm underneath the glow. Everything you worry about can just let go. Rest your eyes against the gentle warming light. Tomorrow's distant and the room is bright. Take your time. Leave the rush behind. Yeah, roasted hazelnuts linger around the entryway. Spilling from a ceramic cup she leaves to cool. She skips the crowded subway train today, watching dust particles swim in a golden pool. Her phone screen flashes but she lets it fade. The busy city muted by the window pane. She traces patterns that the light just made, washing away a week of heavy rain. She leans against the sofa, breathing slow. The traffic moves below her in a distant blur, letting all the expectations finally go. Finding a rhythm customized for her. Amber rays paint the ceiling of her living room, chasing out the shadows of a tired week. Time slows down like a flower in a gentle bloom. Silence is the only language she will speak, bathing in the warmth before the afternoon, drifting on the currents of a quiet tune. A vinyl spins but the volume rests on low. The needle glides across a mellow jazz refrain. She watches how the ivy shadows start to grow, a secret sanctuary safe from any strain. The spreadsheet deadlines vanish in the haze. The neon ladders melt into the wooden floor. She wraps herself inside a lazy daze, unlocking peace behind a heavy door. Every minute stretches out to form a mile. Every beam of light is landing on a smile. It is just an ordinary Saturday, but magic happens when the pressure falls away. The ceramic cup is empty but her soul is full. The glowing rays continue their gentle pull. She shuts her eyes against the bright display, drifting in the center of a flawless day. Safe inside the center of a flawless day. Just settles on the cardboard coaster, holding down a stack of unpaid bills. But right now the silence feels closer, pushing out the city's anxious thrills. Go light spills across the cracked veneer, pinning patterns on my quiet space. Nothing on the schedule for a year, or at least until the afternoon takes place. I am breathing in the amber glow, watching time slow down its heavy pace. Through the blinds a quiet film is playing, the shadow stretching out its arms. Every little worry starts decaying, safe inside the sanctuary's charms. Bathed in the quiet of a slow hour, drinking up the warmth upon my skin. Let in the daylight flex its gentle power, washing away the places I have been. Just me and the dust in the ambient rays, catching a breath in the golden haze. No rush to step into the crowded streets. This lazy geometry is all I need. Yeah. Chasing the rim of my porcelain cup, feeling the heat seep into my thumb. Usually by now I am rushing and running, waiting for some kind of breakdown to come. But the calendar squares are entirely blank, nothing to chase and nobody to thank. A rectangle of warmth moves over the rug, giving my tired ambitions a hug. I close my eyes and I just let it be. This temporary freedom belongs to me. Through the blinds a quiet film is playing, just the shadow stretching out its arms. Every little worry starts decaying, safe inside the sanctuary's charm. Bathed in the quiet of a slow hour, drinking up the warmth upon my skin. Let in the daylight flex its gentle power, washing away the places I have been. Just me and the dust in the ambient rays, catching a breath in the golden haze. No rush to step into the crowded streets. This lazy geometry is all I need. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is nothing. Just sit with the quiet and let it unfold. To stop all the pushing and stop all the bluffing, and let the soft rays turn the floorboard to gold. I leave my phone face down on the shelf, taking a moment to talk to myself. Bathed in the quiet of a slow hour, drinking up the warmth upon my skin. Let in the daylight flex its gentle power, washing away the places I have been. Just me and the dust in the ambient rays, catching a breath in the golden haze. No rush to step into the crowded streets. This lazy geometry is all I need. The shadow climbs up the edge of the wall, a silent companion that asked for no words. I lean back and watch the light gracefully fall, ignoring the distant complaints of the birds. Just one quiet hour before it begins, letting the warmth sink deep in my skin. By the end of the night, by the end of the night, you were on my mind. By the end of the night, you were all I could find. Stay just a little longer. By the end of the night, one look, one smile, no reason, no plan, one step your way, that's where it began. Street lights, slow dance, no words, just us. I never saw it coming till I did. The city disappeared when you came near. Everything got quiet, everything got clear. One more laugh, one more spark, you were already in my heart. By the end of the night, I was falling for you. Didn't need forever, just the way you looked. By the end of the night, every light burned slow. Somewhere in the silence I already knew. By the end of the night, you were on my mind. By the end of the night, you were all I could find. Stay just a little longer. By the end of the night, your voice still stays like smoked in air. One song, one laugh, still lives somewhere. Time runs, we don't, but somehow they stayed. That night never really went away. Funny, I can't remember what we talked about. Not one sentence, not one story, but I remember how you looked at